Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a woman named Mama Agatha. She was known far and wide for her sharp tongue and her sharp opinions, but there was one belief she held that made her infamous. She believed that all rich people were ritualists, people who used dark magic to amass wealth. One day, a wealthy farmer named Chief Umbelekwa moved into the village. He had a large thriving farm full of healthy crops and animals. His farm seemed to grow faster than anyone else's. The villagers marveled at his success, but Mama Agatha wasn't fooled. Do you see how his crops never fail? She scoffed one afternoon as she gathered with her fellow villagers at the market. That man has to be using juju. There is no way a man can be so prosperous unless he has made a pact with the spirits. Those chickens are so fat, they must have been sacrificed to some evil god. Her words spread like wildfire through the village, and soon many villagers avoided Chief Umbelekwa, fearful of his supposed dark magic. The village tailor, Mr. Okoro, was another target of Mama Agatha's suspicion. Over time, his business had flourished. He was now able to hire several assistants, and his fine clothes were in high demand. Mama Agatha could hardly believe it. Look at him, living in that fine house, wearing clothes that are as smooth as butter, she muttered to her friend Mama Kemi one evening by the village well. You know there are rumors that he sacrifices animals to get rich. That is why his business booms while others are struggling. Despite the fact that Mr. Okoro was known to be a hard-working and honest man, Mama Agatha's rumor-mongering led to a decline in his customers, many of whom feared the dark practices she suggested. One day, a wealthy market woman named Madam Chinyere arrived in the village. Her wares were luxurious, colorful clothes, exotic spices, and shining beads from distant lands. Her store grew rapidly, and her reputation as the best trader spread. As Madam Chinyere spoke to the villagers, Mama Agatha was watching from a distance. She couldn't believe that someone could be so successful without some hidden secret. See how she glows, Mama Agatha whispered to her neighbor. She must be using witchcraft. She probably eats the heart of an animal every full moon to stay young and beautiful. No matter how many times Madam Chinyere insisted that success was due to hard work and savvy trading, Mama Agatha continued to spread her suspicion, warning everyone to stay away from the rich ritualist woman. One afternoon, a young man named Tunde passed through the village in a shiny new car. His car gleamed in the sun, and it wasn't long before the villagers started talking about his sudden wealth. He was young, and most believed he didn't come from a rich family. Mama Agatha quickly started sharing her suspicions with anyone who would listen. That boy is too young to have a car like that. He must have done something horrible to get that money, she said in a voice dripping with certainty. I hear he used human blood to get all that wealth. It is the only explanation. She would speak to anyone who walked by, telling them to be wary of Tunde, even though she had no proof. The young man, who had worked hard as a mechanic in a nearby town and saved up for years, became isolated. People no longer trusted him, all because of Mama Agatha's incessant accusations. Finally, the village chief, a respected man named Chief Nwakwo, began to show signs of growing wealth. His house had expanded, he wore finer clothing, and his influence in the region seemed to increase. Mama Agatha, of course, had an explanation for this. He's been in charge of this village for too long, and now he has started using his power for dark purposes, she said, as she sat with the elders under the large baobab tree. I've heard he's been sacrificing children at the shrine to keep his position and wealth. The accusations shook the entire village. Some began to question the chief's integrity, despite the fact that Chief Nwakwo was known for his kindness, his charity, and his wise leadership. Mama Agatha's influence caused doubt and suspicion to fester. One day, the village elders decided to call a meeting. They invited Mama Agatha to speak, hoping to understand the roots of her accusations. But instead of making her case, she was met with a sobering truth. Agatha, Chifunwakwo began kindly. We've all had your beliefs about wealth, but I need to remind you of something. The road to prosperity is not always magical. It is through hard work, faith, and dedication. Look at the farmers, the tailors, and the traders. They have worked tirelessly to build their success. It is not witchcraft, but their perseverance that has brought them here. Mama Agatha sat quietly, reflecting on the wisdom of the chief. Over time, she realized that her suspicions had blinded her to the true value of hard work, and that not everyone's success was born from dark rituals. As Mama Agatha sat in quiet contemplation after the meeting with the elders, she began to think about the 5 people she had accused of dark practices. Despite her suspicions, something deep inside her began to shift. There were signs, small but clear, that began to make her reconsider her belief that all rich people were ritualists. One morning, as Mama Agatha walked to the market, she saw Chief Umbelekwa's large farm in the distance. Normally, she would avoid him, but today something unusual caught her attention. She noticed a group of villagers, including some of the poorest in the village, working on his land. These weren't hired workers, but neighbors who had been invited by the farmer to help with the harvest in exchange for food. One morning, as Mama Agatha walked to the market, she saw Chief Umbelekwa's large farm in the distance. She overheard a conversation between two of the workers. Chief Umbelekwa says the farm is ours to help manage, and all he asks is that we learn how to grow our own crops like he did. That man has given us seeds, tools, and a piece of land to call our own. Mama Agatha's heart softened. She had never seen this side of the farmer. The idea that he was helping others grow their own wealth with such generosity did not align with the image of a ritualist she had painted in her mind. Could it be that he had simply worked hard for his fortune and was now giving back? Curious about the rumors she had spread about Mr. Okoro, Mama Agatha decided to visit his tailoring shop to see for herself. She arrived early in the morning, and to her surprise, the shop was already buzzing with activity. Mr. Okoro was busy measuring a customer while his assistants were stitching clothes with swift, skilled hands. As Mama Agatha waited her turn, she observed how much effort went into every piece of fabric. She saw the piles of work awaiting completion and the focus on quality that Mr. Okoro demanded from his workers. It wasn't magic or dark arts. This was pure dedication to his craft. Mr. Okoro worked long hours, and Mama Agatha even saw him break to eat simple meals rather than anything extravagant. Then a young apprentice came in to deliver a sack of supplies, and Mr. Okoro greeted him warmly. Thank you for the clothes, Nnamdi. We are almost ready for the next batch. Your hard work will pay off. The kindness and humility of the tailor began to chip away at her earlier convictions. Mama Agatha had never noticed the sweat and effort behind the success, only the result. It was clear now that his wealth came from his skill and determination. Madam Chinyere, the wealthy market woman, was always so poised and beautiful, and Mama Agatha had often whispered that her beauty must have come from witchcraft. But one afternoon, as Mama Agatha stood in line at Madam Chinyere's stall, something surprising happened. A small child approached the stall, tugging at Madam Chinyere's sleeve. The child was poorly dressed and clearly hungry. Without a second thought, Madam Chinyere bent down, smiled warmly, and handed the child a handful of fruit and some bread. "Here you go, little one," she said kindly. "Tell your mother to come see me, and I will make sure she has enough to feed her family." Mama Agatha was stunned. She had never seen this side of Madam Chinyere before. The market woman's generosity was not something she would have expected from someone she believed to be using dark powers to stay successful. Could it be that Madam Chinyere was simply kind-hearted and using her wealth to help others rather than keeping it all for herself? One afternoon, Mama Agatha saw Tunde standing by his car, talking to a group of children from the village. They were laughing and playing, and Tunde appeared to be showing them how to fix small issues with their bicycles. He was teaching them about tools and mechanics in the way he knew best. "I'm just helping them learn how to fix their bikes," Tunde explained to one child. "When you are older, you can take care of your own things. That's what I had to do to get this car. It didn't come overnight, but it came with time, learning, and working hard." Mama Agatha was taken aback. Tunde wasn't just some young man with a mysterious fortune. He was someone who valued education, skill, and teaching others. He was investing in the future of the village's children, sharing his knowledge so they could build their own path to success. She had assumed he had gotten rich through some dark means, but the truth was that he had simply worked hard and made wise choices. The final piece of evidence came when Mama Agatha visited Chief Nwakwo one afternoon. He had invited her to discuss the affairs of the village, and as they sat in his well-kept house, Mama Agatha began to notice something that she had not paid attention to before: the way Chief managed his wealth. Chief Nwakwo was not only kind to his people, but also meticulous in how he used his resources. He was always investing in the village's future, building roads, setting up schools, and improving the local healthcare system. When Mama Agatha asked him about his recent wealth, the chief smiled. "I've always believed that wealth comes from serving the people," Chief Nwakwo said. "When we help others, we create a strong community, and that is true prosperity. My success isn't from dark magic. It is from helping the people around me and making sure that they have the tools to prosper as well." As Mama Agatha listened to the chief speak, a deep understanding began to dawn on her. The chief had built his wealth by being a good leader and investing in the well-being of the village. His success wasn't the result of rituals, but of thoughtful decisions and selfless acts. In the days that followed, Mama Agatha reflected on everything she had witnessed: the farmer, the tailor, the market woman, the young man with a car, and the village chief had all shown her that wealth could come from hard work, kindness, and perseverance, not from dark forces or rituals. Slowly but surely, her mind opened to a new way of thinking. She no longer believed that all rich people were ritualists. Instead, she began to admire their work ethic, their contributions to the community, and their unwavering dedication. Mama Agatha had been wrong to judge others based on her unfounded beliefs. She had learnt a valuable lesson. It was not wealth that defined a person, but how they used that wealth to improve the lives of others. And so, Mama Agatha's reputation in the village began to change. No longer feared as a woman who spread suspicion and fear, she became known as someone who had learned to appreciate the fruits of hard work and who had a deeper understanding of what true prosperity really meant. The village thrived not only because of its rich people, but because of the unity and respect that Madame Agatha had come to cherish.